Hello everyone, and welcome back to the shop. Today we have a project of necessity for me. But before we get rolling on that project, I need to introduce you to someone. This humble Canon G7X. This is the camera that I started my YouTube channel on, and it shoots, or has shot, every video that I've done so far. I call them safety squint, because when I close it, the lens cover doesn't even close anymore. This little camera has been through the ringer. There is weld splatter on the lens. The flip-up screen is just covered in weld splatter. Along with it was dropped, or a tripod fell over and it broke. So this poor thing has seen better days. But the footage that this thing captures is really, really good. It is time to progress and time to move on. That leads us to this. This is my Panasonic GH5, and shout out to Caleb over at DSLR Shooter for showing me how to build this steady rig that I use when I'm shooting my B-roll. So this is how I get that really smooth B-roll shots. I use this rig. It gives me two hands, lots of control. I use a variable frame rate and run my frame rate up to about 180, and then swoop in over my stuff to make it look good. That being said, weld splatter on this thing, not an option. I can't afford to, nor will I allow this to be destroyed. I haven't been using this in the shop because I'm scared it's going to be destroyed by weld splatter, and I really need to bring this in the shop and use it to up my game. But like I said, I don't want to destroy this thing. What are my options? Well, the first option is I got to protect my lens. And my buddy Phil, House of Chop, who has a lot of experience with camera gear, first thing he recommended was buy a cheap UV filter. These are $7 off of Amazon. I think they're $7 or $9. I got a link in the description for all this stuff. And these are disposable basically. So if I get weld splatter on this, throw it away, and the lens itself is protected. So that protects the lens. Now the camera body and the screen, that's our next problem. Now this is waterproof. I'm not going to build anything waterproof. The main thing for this is we're building a welding hood for a GH5. You know, I'm going to keep the weld splatter off of the camera body and off of the screen while still allowing me to use the screen so I can see my shot. Now I'm not going to build a case to fit all this. This is too much. So I'm going to drop this battery grip. So now we just got the basic camera body. And I'm not going to protect the sides of the lens. I'm not worried about the sides of the lens. I'm basically worried about the camera body and the screen. So let's remove the lens. Here we go. This is what we want to protect. This is our goal for today. And ideally, I'd like to build a rig that I can run the camera like this so I can see the screen, and it will be protected either with a replaceable plastic shield over the lens, or I don't know yet, but this is what we're doing. I've decided I want to vacuum form a piece of PETG plastic over this, and we're going to have to do some planning because I want the plastic to extend out to here to protect the screen. So the plastic can't go any further than right in here. That way I can frame up a shot while I'm welding. Also, the plastic needs to probably stop right in here somewhere so I can still reach these controls from behind. So I'm thinking it needs to go somewhere like this. Like that, maybe right to there. I also want access to the shoe so I can mount a microphone over the top of the plastic. I've done some very light prototype work. I decided to I was going to do the whole battery grip. I think that's just too much. So I've sort of sculpted this foam ring around the perimeter of the camera. The thought is I could use the ring when I pull the plastic over it to control where the plastic goes to give me room. I'm going to trim this off like right here. That can go. Also, I need to be able to trim the plastic for a tripod mount. Oh, that's right, this needs to come off here. One of my main concerns is features like this. Because when the plastic is drawn over it, it can grip it and then the camera will get stuck. So I'm going to take masking tape and I'm going to tape over these exterior buttons to smooth out their profile and then use aluminum tape on top of that. I'm not crazy about putting masking tape on my camera, but it should keep the buttons from becoming locked. We are in the shop now. I have my vacuum table set up. Let me give you a rundown of what is involved. Okay, my vacuum forming table is a very rough sort of utilitarian design, but it's very effective and it works really nice, but it's not very space saving. It consists of 4 major components. Component number 1 here is the burner box or the heat box. It's a box that's a little less than 2 by 2. It's just a wood box aligned in aluminum foil, and there's a dual burner propane heater mounted at the bottom, and my propane tank is right there. And then on top of that box sits this steel frame. This is a clamshell steel frame that your plastic is clamped into, and I've welded these little teeth right there to hold the plastic in place. So you'll put a 2 foot by 2 foot sheet of plastic like this one right here. This is PETG thermoplastic. This will be clamped in the clamshell, and the clamshell sits on top of the heat box, and the heaters heat the plastic, and the plastic starts to droop and get soft. Then we have the vacuum forming table. This box is about 23 by 23, so it's less than the 24-inch plastic. In the center I've got my buck or my forming mold already prepped. I hope my camera survives. You might watch me destroy my camera today. This vacuum table is connected to my shop vac. So what I'll do is I will heat the plastic here, get it good and soft, slide the plastic over this box. The plastic will make a seal right here along the edge, flip on the vacuum, and with any luck, this will pull a nice form of this shape here. I'm going to leave the protective coating on the plastic. It shouldn't affect the forming process. This sheet is just a little bit too thick for my clamshell, so it's going to be under quite a bit of tension. My wife is leaving for work right above our heads. You can probably hear her dress shoes clicking on the concrete floor above me. She parks her car in the garage right above my shop. There we go. I feel like we got a good pull. I just want to get my camera out of there because it's still quite warm. I don't think we damaged the camera. Okay, it's cool enough now. I'm not too freaked out about the heat. That's my main concern, was the heat on the camera itself. That's what I was worried about. This plastic really is too thick for these purposes, but I bought this plastic for a different project. And you know, you use what you got. Okay. I hope it didn't stick to this foam. It looks like it might have. Ah, there we go. Looks like the blue coating stuck to the foam pretty hard. Easy. Easy, easy, easy. Aha! We're out. Still turns on. Should be good. Should be good. Just some slight cleanup right there with regards to the stickum from the tape. The results of our efforts today. While not perfect, it is definitely serviceable and will help me keep my camera from being destroyed. It's kind of like a non-darkening welding hood for my camera. So features are, I have this replaceable pane of plexiglass here, so as this gets weld splatter on it, I can take this out, drill a new one, put it right back in. I'll probably change this once every 6 months, depending on how close I get to the action. I put a leather hood on the back that drapes down to keep weld splatter from bouncing in. I do have an area exposed down here that I'm not crazy about, but you know, you can't cover everything. Because it's vacuum formed, it just pops on like that. It's a nice tension fit. There you go. So I can see the screen. There is a couple of problems. I can get to my memory cards. I can't adjust my white balance or my ISO. I'll have to do that before I pop this thing in. If I keep the ISO and the white balance on auto, that might help in the shop. But I can change modes, turn it on, turn it off, pull the SD card out, mount it to a tripod. It ticks all the boxes for me, and it will protect the screen and the body from sparks and weld splatter. So that's it. If you happen to have a vacuum forming machine, it's not a bad project. And if you don't have a vacuum forming machine, you can do this without. You could just build a simple box for your camera. So now, for future videos when you see me welding, you'll know that this is what I'm using to capture that footage. So, I'm Jason. This is Works by Hearst. This is a, what are we going to call this? A camera. This is a welding hood for my GH5. And I will see all of you in the next video.